What goals have been achieved? Who are the players? Find answers on Deadline Lagos every Saturday at 3:30 p.m. only on Channels Television.
As governors who have respect, and he printed ballot papers, and we don't see that number, we don't know where the ballot papers came from, and he suddenly announced through his DG that he has 19 votes and that Governor Jang has 16 votes. But in reality, the person who has 19 signatures of state governors of the Federation of Nigeria is Governor of Plateau State, Governor Jang.
All right, welcome back. Well, that's where we continue from this morning. And Harvey Joseph joins us this morning. He's a legal practitioner. Morning, and thank you for coming on today.
Thanks very much, Chamberlain.
Well, yes, indeed. Looking at this matter, we did also play the video yesterday for a lot of people to see. But what can you tell us? What's the latest development about this Nigeria Governors Forum matter now?
Now, this issue about Nigeria Governors Forum is a bit, I think it's a bit messy in the sense that there are some election has held, some resolutions were reached. Apparently, from what we see in the public domain, certain resolutions were reached before the election. Why the resolution was abandoned is not quite clear. But from the kind of paperwork, the paperwork that we have seen suggests to me that there was a resolution to agree on a candidate, the person who will emerge the chairman of the Governors Forum. But it's not quite clear from the paperwork that any particular person was agreed on. That's why you find that there was a blank space that was filled in by hand, and you find that dates were corrected. Since no specific candidate was agreed on, an election held. Well, from what we've seen, the clips that we've seen also on the social media about elections shows that an election held and somebody emerged the chairman, emerged the winner. Governor Rotimi Amechi emerged the winner, and because of that, we now understand that he's been suspended by the PDP. But the election of the Governors Forum is not a party affair.
Yeah, but was he suspended based on his emergence as the chairman of Nigeria Governors Forum?
Well, there's several speculations because we've not seen any letter communicating the reasons why he was suspended. But one of the reasons they say they suspended him was because the National Working Committee claimed that he did not obey the directives of the State Executive Committee of the party.
And that is violated Section 58 of the party Constitution.
Well, I'm actually scandalized by the whole of that. To say Section 58. The party constitution that I'm aware of does not have up to 50 sections. Well, I have a party constitution of the PDP that was signed, approved by a convention and signed by Ogbulafo when Ogbulafo was chairman, national chairman.
Sorry, are you sure they're not working with an amended version, or you are working with an amended version?
An amended version. There is no constitution of the PDP that can come into force unless it has been approved by the National Convention. So, if we were to use the constitution of the PDP that we know, the current constitution of the PDP, even the National Working Committee has limited powers. It has limited powers. The National Working Committee of the party can suspend a person for maybe a maximum of 1 month after preliminary hearing. What is a preliminary hearing? It is a trial before a trial. You cannot try somebody in absentia.
So now that the party says, well, he was suspended and then there will be preliminary hearings, or is it that from the preliminary hearings they had, he has to suspend it?
No, the party, the NWC could have only suspended him after preliminary hearings. But they didn't hold a preliminary hearing. They've already suspended him and now want to institute preliminary hearing. And then the NWC is saying that they're setting up a panel, a committee for that purpose. Then, with respect to my party, the NWC cannot delegate that power to a committee, because the only organ of the party that has that responsibility is the National Executive Committee of the party.
Why do you think that some of the other governors will come up and say they've got a winner in Governor Jan?
Now, that is a moral burden for each and every one of those governors. What we should be concerned about today in Nigeria is that we are living in an era where the word of a man means absolutely nothing. That's what we should be concerned about. And this is because responsibility has been passed to individuals. There's a systemic failing of institutions. We have a situation where our institutions are not failing, are failing, where our institutions are being manipulated by people. Therefore, I believe that all the institutions that have been set up, political institutions, the PDP is a political institution. As a political institution, for the party to succeed as a political institution, then its organs must function properly and appropriately. The National Executive Committee of the party has very, 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 very serious responsibilities.
Have they met? Have they been constituted?
That National Executive Committee has long been constituted, but I do not think that committee has met in a long while. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of the dangers of the failings of institutional organs. If you look at the report that was given by Olisametu concerning the reason why Governor Rotimi was suspended, he said that they received a report, a complaint from the State Executive Committee of the PDP in Rivers State. Well, I stand to be corrected, but I do not think that the State Executive Committee of the PDP in Rivers State has ever met.
Really?
They've never met. Not too long ago, there was some court decision which the national leadership, I'll just say national leadership because I'm not sure about which organ of the party recognized that committee. The national leadership of the party recognized a judgment that was delivered in Abuja, and therefore the chairman, the state chairman, and the state secretary of the party in Rivers State were replaced in conformity or with that judgment.
Not the entire leadership.
Well, as far as to the best of my knowledge, it is not the entire leadership of the party that was affected by that judgment of the courts.
But it wasn't just those two, the chairman and the secretary, that was sworn in by the national leadership, was it?
Now, if I go back to how many people who were sworn in, and I relate it back to the number of persons who attended the Thanksgiving service that they held in Port Harcourt, I do not think that the numbers were up to 12 of them. The State Executive Committee of the party comprises not just those 12 persons or those handful of persons who were sworn in and who attended that Thanksgiving service, but also comprises the 23 local government chairmen in Rivers State, the deputy chairman in Rivers State. That's the council chairman. So you can imagine that at least, first of all, you have 46 members, or 46 persons who should be members of the State Executive Committee. The governor is a member of the State Executive Committee. So when these persons have never been summoned to a State Executive Committee meeting.
Do they all have to be in a meeting for a resolution to be reached and be binding?
Oh yes, because if you follow the provisions of the Constitution of the PDP, the State Executive Committee is the organ of the party that is responsible for these decisions. It is responsible for reconciling issues that arise within the state.
Now, what I
political
mean is that
issues.
If some members don't attend, if the key members attend and sign the document, isn't it supposed to be binding?
No.
Because they say if you have a quorum.
Yes, issues of key members do not really arise because if you want to have a State Executive Committee meeting, the Constitution of the party makes it very clear that you need 2/3 majority to summon a State Executive Committee meeting, and then you need 1/3 majority of persons to support any motion or resolution.
So if they were to come to this kind of decision where they write a letter or complaint to the national leadership, what circumstance or what will be required?